Did they involve 8 minutes?
Order. Welcome, everybody. First of all, I'd like to introduce Scott Goldie. He's the new village attorney. Everybody here, department heads, so Tim Bacon in the red, he's our superintendent. Megan in the back. Megan Richardson, Megan with an H. She's rec director. Tim Nolan is our code enforcement. And chief, have you know the chief, don't you? Jim Santamon. Okay. Cindy Brand is the assessor for both the town and the village. So.
And Lee is on Zoom.
Oh, well, she just, she must have just joined.
She did just.
Okay. Okay, so, move right into our agenda. First order of business to approve minutes. This is November 16th. I guess we hadn't approved those, so we need to, need a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second? Second. Any questions or?
There were a few changes, small changes. I'll make those and redistribute.
Okay,
There was a mysterious name placed randomly and
somebody called you out?
yeah,
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
With corrections?
yes, with corrections.
Any opposed? Okay, department head report. Let's see what we have here. Well, superintendent's on top. Tim, what do you got for us?
Nothing too exciting. Gonna be working together with the board here pretty closely to hopefully move forward some infrastructure projects. We've already met last week. So we kind of have that moving along with normal budget things, which
Okay,
is gonna be somewhat new to me here, obviously, for this year. I don't really think, I don't have anything else really to add. I think I added in. The only thing I didn't add in under the golf courses, I was just waiting for some quotes to come in on the flooring for the kitchen and the golf course. I think I've probably got everything now. I just got to get with Barb and Beth and see which way direction we want to head. But,
Okay.
hopefully that'll be happening, new Florida kitchen here in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but anyways, everything will be tidied up before it's open.
we've, there's been a lot of brush that you people have had to pick up since a couple of storms we've had, and I appreciate the efforts they made. And each of us may have heard about some of it, but and it was certainly an extraordinary amount of material that came down during a couple of those storms. So.
Yeah, a lot of the public didn't realize that we were picking it up. We didn't really put it out publicly, because if we did, we were afraid that we'd get so much thrown out the curbs, and then we'd have snow and ice happen. It would just sit there and get frozen in. So they've been picking it up right now.
Good. Anything for him?
Just to also note in your report the thanks to Richard Grover for his work in the tree
yeah.
committee. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that as well, definitely done quite a lot of work in the community. So we are grateful.
I would also like to add, please send along our gratitude to your team. It's been a few weeks of lots of weather. And we
Yeah.
appreciate what they're doing.
Okay. Next on my list is Cindy, our assessor.
Okay, well, there's a couple of things going on. One is the volunteer firefighter and volunteer ambulance workers. The governor had changed the exemption. We have till 2025 to adopt to continue to that exemption, but it has to be done either by the town or the village, I believe, and you guys will have to make a decision whether you want, it's up to 10% of the assessed value of the home for the exemption.
Mhm.
With the old exemption is capped at $3,000. So it's the big savings now for these volunteer firefighters, so you guys have to make a decision whether you have, where you wanna go. If you wanna continue it, and if you do, you need to set what percentage, and we could go as high as 10%. The other thing that came down from the governor was for, they ran a report, in our Office of Real Property Taxation and Finance, Department of Taxation and Finance, and it was through the IRS, and all the age, not even the age, all the people who are 65 and older, who are making under 58,400, they ran a report, and we got all the names in the town of Canton, and there's about 200 and, it just ran it, 260 applicants that might be qualified to get the age exemption, but they ran the 58,000 because they picked Long Island, they must have picked Long Island, because that's what the low income is coming from, that 58.4. And where we, in the village, you have to make under 29.9. I'm sorry, 28,399. And for the town, it was 28,399. And for the school, they couldn't make any more than $19,199. So we're getting, it's a mass mailing, it's gonna happen before the end of January. The county's helping us with this. We're gonna make postcards up for these people, and we're gonna run it and we'll mail it out. I think about $110 for, we're gonna have to do it, and there's gonna be a lot of questions, people calling and, trying to apply for it. But I think on the postcard, we're gonna write those amounts in, so they'll know it's not, can make up to 58,000, it's the 28,399. So, with that going on, started collecting a lot of the permits in the village. I'm almost done with the village. I was just telling Tim, a lot of it is, unfortunately, a lot of it is nonprofit, and they're adding value, but you can't get taxes on it. So, we're doing that, and that was about it. Does anybody have any questions on my report?
Anything? My own,
I have just one question, just curious about the condo bill. I know the governor vetoed it. I mean, how many condos are there in?
The only condos we have is in Rushton. In Rushton, I think there are 4 or 5 of them up there.
Those
And
are the only ones in the whole.
if someone buys it for 200, they're buying them for like 275,000. They're not assessed at that.
No, it's in the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah, they're assessed about a third of that, and
That's
what
a
they were
pretty
trying
big-
to do is if someone bought a new condo as of today, and they paid $300,000, we should be able to assess it at that, at market value. But the condos are not, that's not how they value them, and they bought it, and the governor shot it down. So we have to continue with what we've been doing, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's not obviously a huge.
Yeah, I know.
Although it's expensive. Okay.
Just
Thanks.
another quick one. When, do we have a deadline as to when we need to decide on the firefighters and EMS folks?
I'm sorry, right?
2025.
We've got a few years before we need to decide on the percentage for the firefighters and the EMS,
The volunteer.
the volunteers.
I think, yeah, it was, for the village, it was 28,399.99.
The firefighters.
The date, Cindy.
Of the firefighters, it was up to 10% of their assessed value of their home,
Right, what's the date that we need to?
by 2025.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no, that was I missed that, thank you.
anything else? Okay. Lee, you out there?
I'm here.
You have anything to report?
I can summarize my report for you. Not a whole lot of new stuff, working on, obviously a lot of the, existing grants and new ones that we have. The World Games are going on right now. From what I can see, the attendance has been pretty good. So that's been an exciting thing so far. For Willow Island, we have a second public meeting will be scheduled, I think, on March 2nd. And that'll be sort of an open house format, so the public can come in and see what the proposed schematic plans are and give feedback on those. So we'll get more information to you about that. The CDBG CARES Act grant, we have the grant agreement done. There's a resolution you'll be looking at later in the meeting. We have to do the environmental, and that will make Mike the certifying officer to do the environmental, sign the environmental paperwork and any other paperwork relevant to the grant, as we typically do for our grants. So we're getting that moving. We have a subrecipient agreement drafted with United Helpers that we just need a couple more details entered into it, and that'll be ready to sign. So we're getting moving on that. We did outreach the community for participation on a review committee for the small business piece, and I think we have 5 responses there. So we're good there as well. So that can get rolling soon once we get this environmental stuff done. Restore New York. We have a public hearing scheduled next week on the 25th at 5:30, I believe, for round 7 of Restore New York. We'll be submitting applications to that. Those are due on the 27th. And I just noted in here that we received $475,000 from the county from their ARPA funds toward the secondary water source. So we're going to be working on the environmental review for that grant as well and getting that going. That's all I really have. I will mention too, though, I think I said in previous reports that we did not get the LWRP grant this year. We had a debrief call this morning, and again, similar to last year, they told us it was a great application. They didn't have a whole lot to say. We only lost 1 or 2 points here and there. Some of them were things that we just weren't eligible for. Others were maybe could use a little more clarification on things. We did only get 10 out of 20 points from the regional council. So that is probably the biggest place where we lost points. So we have to look into the regional council and how they're scoring these planning projects, and maybe we can gain a little traction there. But they had $49 million worth of requests this year and only had $16 million to give out. So they only were able to give about 27% of who requested funds and 25 projects total. So they really didn't have a lot of bad things to say. And in fact, they were surprised that we didn't get funded. The 2 scorers we spoke to thought that that we had a fundable request. So again, disappointing, but we'll just have to keep moving and try again next year and see if we can improve on it again. And that's it.
Thank you. Anything for Lee?
One thing, Lee, I'm not sure that you or the ED committee updated the board that we did find, or not find, people volunteered to serve on the small business grant committee.
Yep, I did mention that. We put it out to the public and we got 5 responses.
Awesome.
Yep.
Anything else? Thank you, Lee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, so. I don't know. This hasn't worked. And I don't know why.
Sorry.
Everything's plugged in.
The one that's not.
Well. I'm wondering. We're gonna lose everything though if I unplug this.
There she goes.
Try that.
Yeah. Seating. What does that mean?
When- It
Wait,
should start,
warming up.
who?
It'll
You said
start,
hoot, hoot.
I'll start. with-
Yeah.
Who set this up?
Is the volume turned way up on it now? Like,
I have no
Well,
idea. We'll find out.
oh, that's coming out of your.
Yeah. Come on.
I hear the ocean.
Yeah, it'll start in a minute. Probably the way I shut it down. There we go. Well. Maybe that's better. Okay. We're back. Let's see how we do now.
I can see you now. I couldn't see you before.
Okay.
But we can hear you much better, Lee.
Oh, good.
Even.
Okay, Tim Nolan, anything to add to your report?
Very quiet, issued one permit for $40 garage next to Walgreens. One thing I need to add is that I forgot to add a trash complaint at 16 Little Target, 16 J Street. And complaint came in on January 11th and resolved the next day on the 12th.
You start doing more fire safety things now during the winter?
I will be doing that.
Okay,
I've been doing it. I've been leaving it in and out.
okay,
Like, for instance, I have to get back to Kent Manor Apartments, definitely needs an inspection, as you can see the complaint in violation section. There was a woman there who was without heat and hot water for about a week. And during all of this.
okay,
She had an electric heater, but it was pretty bad. And she didn't come around, she didn't get up the nerve to call me until like Friday at like 3:30. But I had to spend a little overtime tracking the way down again. Maintenance in there. It was unfortunate, she had to wait a following morning to get things fully operating.
anything else for Tim? Thanks, Tim. Treasurer's report.
Don't really have anything extra to add. Been extremely busy collecting water bills, HR issues. You have any questions?
Has the calendar been taken care of?
Yeah.
On the website?
Oh,
We gotta
we're
talk
still-
about that in,
yeah, we're gonna,
okay,
it's gonna
later,
be a big conversation.
later, okay. Anything for Sally?
Oh, I have one question. Do you know what the timeline is for, I'm blanking on the name of our firm, to do the AED and the audit? Is that March?
Well, that would be in, they would actually do it in July.
July.
The
Okay.
AUD doesn't
Right, the AUD wouldn't be.
until
okay.
after our budget
July.
year.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else for Sally? Okay, fire department, you got his report. Rec. Megan,
Big news, new microchip supposed to be here Friday. Supposed to be here last Monday. They couldn't get a driver to drive to deliver it, so it's just kind of the world that we're in right now. So fingers crossed it shows up. The 88 buttons on the front door are all installed and completed. That's nice. Some new stuff. Last couple days, we hosted the student giving and conference some practices, so that was nice. Started reaching out to our lifeguards to see who's returning, who's not returning. Seem to be in pretty good shape, and I've already had 3 people actively seek me out. So that's been a good sign for a year ago. And then today I got a nice call from Pat Harrington at They had to bring in a bunch of rubber flooring for university games that they don't have a use for. And they are gonna get them.
Ooh,
I don't know how much, but I'm assuming it's gonna be a good amount.
That's exciting. Wow.
take what you can get.
Take what we can get. Nice for them.
Good deal.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that is all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Anything for Megan?
I didn't have any question, but I did want to say thanks for including the revenue report in here, and seeing how that's going is really helpful, and looks like it's going well. Busy down there.
Yes, it'd be nice when the kids go back to school.
Right.
Yeah. Let's not have much snow day.
That's Megan's babysitting service.
Yeah. Power to- yeah.
We get some exercise, get all tuckered out.
Anything else for Megan? Thank you. Chief,
Lord, the World University Games, as far as law enforcement and security go, are going fantastically well. So far, that's what everyone was hoping for, so no negatives that I've heard of yet. That's good. Plus, the new impound yard that we just recently, him and his crew have installed for us. We're making a little bit of use of that already, 7 vehicles in December, and I know we did a fair amount for January already. Just letting you know that we needed it. Other thing is getting rescue. I just wanted to thank them, Tyler Clark and Don Thompson. Hooked up our whole department with our new AED and CPR trains. Didn't cost us anything. So that was great. Yeah. Other than that, any questions?
anything? Going once, twice? Thank you. You got a historian's report. She will not be here today and will not be online. She had a good night the other night, for her open house, and, it went well, I guess, and she thanks everybody that showed.
It was well attended.
It was well attended, really done a nice job. We definitely encourage the community to go down and make use of the
Wow.
space. What an opportunity.
So much stuff there that you really weren't able to even interact with.
Right. Yeah. History, character, everything. It's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That being said, I entertain a motion to accept department head reports.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Committee reports. I know we got a couple committees out there. Okay, rec committee will be meeting on the 30th. No, 30th?
Yes.
So we decided 30th, 5:15. We really want to get working or get this agreement between the town and the village straightened out. We're trying to do it earlier before our joint meeting, but we couldn't get that done, so. That's the big plan.
Tree committee on Thursday. I have an opportunity for 10 down on the golf course, and the clubhouse, and it shows things that he's gonna be refurbishing. And sprucing the space up. Thanks for your expertise.
I don't know about that.
In terms of decor, and paint colors, so I definitely. What's that?
Yeah, I expressed you don't want me to pick it up.
Well, you just, fine. And they just painted it the same color.
When she quoted HGTV, I knew that we were good with her.
Yeah. Out of my league.
So thanks, Claire.
Next,
Okay, so I guess I will start with communications and technology. The website, which you previously spoke about the calendar. I believe that the calendar is. As of like, when I looked at 3:30, it was working, but that's about all I can vouch for.
Well, for example, on the 25th, there are really 4 meetings. You can only see 2.
So.
If you pull up one of the meetings that you can see,
Mhm.
and down at the bottom, there's an arrow, you can arrow over to the
Wow.
next meeting. But nobody knows that.
Mhm.
unless-
But you'd have to know there were other.
Exactly.
meetings.
You would have to know there are other-
If you're
Yeah.
looking.
So there are some issues.
And meetings disappeared off of the calendar.
All the reoccurring meetings.
All the
are gone.
reoccurring meetings disappeared.
Uh-oh.
And that's just the calendar. You know, we've been having some larger discussions in the CNT committee about the website, about the fact that it is very probable that, you know, its original design and in building that maybe we have outgrown it in the way that we use it and wish the public to use it as well. And so, you know, it's not very navigable. I was trying to create a page for the sustainability committee, only to discover that there was a page for the sustainability committee, but it wasn't linked or attached, or you couldn't, you know, I just happened to upon it, you know, and, you know, so it really needs some, love and attention, I guess. And, so the committee's talking about that and looking at what some possible ways are to, I think we'll be bringing the board a recommendation with respect to what to do about the website, going forward. And I think that will involve a redesign. It's also the case that it has taken a very long time to get some rather simple problems fixed, problems that we need fixed in order to be able to meet our legal obligations in terms of notice and such. So that's not really an answer to the question as much as
Okay.
we're working on it. We see that there's a problem, and I think maybe our next meeting, we can bring a recommendation as to where to go next.
Okay.
Anything else about that, Sally or Barb?
You know, we'd like there to be some updates, if there really are.
Right, exactly. And not, because of a lack of persistence on behalf of both our clerk's office and the town clerk's office. I would hasten to add that, like, this is not on us. So to speak. The social media policy is later on the agenda. Most of the infrastructure committee stuff is later on the agenda. I think just to note that, you know, meeting with Tim and Lee in terms of planning. Economic development, we're still meeting on CGI, so I just, you know, mention that to keep the board informed that we continue to work on it, but it's not a super high priority because you know, the video production process doesn't, you know, begin until June. So Lee has a lot on her plate. We're trying to kind of space things out, work on that a little bit.
They
further
sent
down
us
the
a
road.
preliminary script that we're.
Yes. Yes, we
And
are.
again, nobody goes, it's not till June, we don't really need to have it done next week.
Broadband is meeting Friday. I hope to have an update for you the next month. And then I think CCA. Wait, that's on the agenda.
That's on the agenda.
Okay.
I might be done. I'm
Well,
missing something.
reserve your right.
Yeah, thank you.
Sustainability and Complete Streets both met earlier in the month. And are just continuing with our ongoing projects, our clean energy certification and working on Court Street plans, and should have something well before spring and Court Street recommendations. And just keep an eye.
Anything else?
They cover it on my committee side.
Okay,
No,
very
you
good.
shouldn't reinvent
That works.
it.
Okay, thank you. Communications and information, I don't have much other than There is an invitation floating around here. If anybody wants to go to the annual Chambers kickoff for Winterfest. I know I had one request. There's a card here and I think it's $40 per person, so. Anybody wants to get together and put one card in. Pool your money, whatever. I will say that I went to the, well, I participated in the torch relay for the university games, and that was fun. And then Mary Ann and I went down to the ceremony in Lake Placid, the kickoff ceremony, and that was fun. We were treated very well. Representing our village and our town. And we went to a little beforehand party, went to the whole celebration, and it worked out very well. It was fun to go down and watch that. So I think it's been a very very interesting time in our communities. Hopefully.
Kudos to Canton School for the whole.
Oh,
run.
they
They
did,
have a
yeah.
run for
the-
participating.
The kids, a lot of the kids went to hockey games and
Mhm.
so there seemed to be a lot of participation in hockey. A lot of the local community helped out
Mhm.
in officiating, and as Chief said, it was it's been very well handled in terms of security and everything else, and they've really had a big presence for security. There's kids from all over the world here.
Mhm.
And I gotta give credit to the chamber. The county chamber did a really good job of putting things together
Mhm.
and making things happen. Brooke Rouse did a fine job when it came to that. A lot of cooperation between her and some other civic organizations in the community. So that's what I got on communication, so. No update from the county legislator. Old business. 64 Main Street. We're making good progress. I circulated the letter, the clearance letter from DC. The report, 50-some pages of the report. And a copy of the agreement with McDonald's. Personally, I think we're ready to start, continue moving forward. We're waiting to hear from Gary Boich, who is the attorney that specializes in cleanups to make sure that we're all done. If we have to extend this contract any further, we have to do it by the end of the month. Scott, I think you've been read in on this with
Yeah, Jerry included me in all of this stuff. and
Right.
maybe Some of you hear from Eric, and I'm hoping that we can hear from him before we have the joint meeting, and anticipating we probably do that meeting, so.
okay,
Maybe we can, if we don't make progress before we can make that.
okay. There were some questions that Jerry raised in his email to all of us. I sent those on to you. You know how Jerry is, he likes to ask questions. But I think personally, I think we're good. The one piece that still on the north wall that tested positive, the soil is still fine for commercial use. And they weren't gonna go digging out under the sidewalk and into the road, so. I guess that story is to be continued at our joint meeting. Any questions or concerns that you might have about that? I think we're almost there. If we don't extend that, we bought,
Right.
so.
I'm certainly, I'm looking forward to that. I have a little bit of pause knowing that there's some contamination there because we take ownership of the property and that's on us. But given all of the context, it does seem, minimal. It won't interfere with our purposes.
Yeah, and I think a certain amount is, you're not gonna do anything about it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and, three sides of the wall and the base is done bedrock, so.
Right.
It's all tested, pretty good, so. If you feel like reading all 53 pages, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't.
The executive
quite-
summary really.
Yeah,
the first
I,
8 pages covers it, so.
We're in a much better place as a community.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Appreciate that it's done.
Yep. So that'll hopefully be wrapping up soon. I can get that off the agenda. 19 Minor Street was the next item I had. That continues. There's still some negotiations going on that we have to wrap up. A couple things to talk about in executive session, but we are applying for grants. Restore New York grants.
Mhm.
That's proceeding. I had a meeting with SUNY Canton and the developers the other day with Lee. And we received some good information there, so we're proceeding. There's a public hearing about the project before our joint meeting at 5:30. So I do have site control affidavits for those applications to proceed, so we're in good shape right now.
That's the 25th, right? 25th of February.
25th at 5:30, yes. The next item was talk about the attorney to represent the village in solar negotiations. There's some questions that have come up in that. And that will be dealt with in our joint meeting. Bill Buchanan. I didn't pronounce that right. Buchanan. There were a couple of questions that came up about representing both the town and the village together. I thought we had dealt with that, but we may have to readdress that later. I had asked for the contract to sign. That came back that there was some questions, so we'll be dealing with that with the town at our joint meeting. And you were read in on that too, Scott, so you've seen that, so, okay. Okay, the next item is community choice aggregation.
Okay.
So a couple of you have some things to.
Yep. We're moving ahead with public outreach and education. For the next 60 days, there'll be numerous public events, Zoom meetings. They offer to present at our February board meeting, which we can discuss and let them know if we want them to do that or not. The basic timeline is the public education will go till March, and an RFP will go out in March for finding an energy source, and then there'll be a pricing negotiation and figuring out the best possible deal for our energy. And that goes till about end of April, early May. And then in June, a letter will go out to all village residents, letting them know about the whole operation and their options, and letting them know they are able to opt out if they wish right at the start, if they don't want to get into it, or they can opt out at any point after it starts out. So it'll be wide open for anybody who doesn't want to participate. And then the target would be to have the launch in August of actually getting renewable power from an alternate source in August sometime. That's sort of the basic timeline. Let's see, Anna, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would add that, so Klaus and I met with Jewel today, and the regulatory requirements are that we have 2 public Zoom sessions.
Mhm.
You can imagine all the attendance we will get. But we really had I mean, I guess precisely, I mean, I'm joking, but I think that, it really has been of concern to us that we find a way to get this information out into the community.
Right.
And not just, sort of check the regulatory boxes.
Yeah.
Because when people get that letter,
They're
they
gonna
will
want
be
it.
alerted to what we're doing, and, hopefully we can answer some questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, what Jewel has offered to do, is to, not only do those 2 sessions, but they are willing to zoom into community groups. They, we brainstormed a list of groups that they, could reach out to and that we would try to help put them in touch with. So thinking specifically about populations that are very likely to have a lot of questions about, if somebody wants to make a change to your electric bill, like, really wanting to make sure that we, are able to do this outreach. So in addition to that direct outreach, having them come to the sustainability meetings, also talked about press releases, ads in all of our local media sources, and as well as I think actual physical flyers and some of the, our usual places as well. The town of Potsdam is on the exact same timeline as we are as well.
And about a dozen other towns across New York will be in on this upcoming buy. So we're one of like a dozen communities that are doing this at this point.
So holding off, benefited us because we will have more leverage
company.
going into the,
Yep.
into it. So, I guess there will be, a lot of information coming about these events as they get up and about the program. And so we would be hoping that people would, share that information widely because we really want our community to, as much as possible, to know about this prior to us making any kind of decision about proceeding.
If you anticipate that the letters, go out in June?
Yeah.
You said, and that spurs the questions, why not send a letter now? And spur the questions now to say, I mean,
Right.
obviously, it's not gonna be the same thing,
Yeah.
because you're further down in the process, but if you're trying to flesh out the questions, what
That's
will
interesting.
stimulate the questions the most if a mass mailing, I mean, it costs money, I get that, but.
I think they want to get as much information out before the letters as possible, just so that there'll be a fair number of people will be aware of it and know about it already. And it's not a complete surprise to everyone. Like they-
But
Well,
you're,
I guess
you're
that-
right, sending a letter ahead of the letter.
Mhm.
That's
This is
definitely an
not
interesting
that
idea.
it's-
We could bring that back.
Sort
to
of like
them.
a pre-letter.
The
Yeah,
the
I'm
lesson
saying-
they would get in June is the one that would
Yeah.
tell them,
Yeah.
this is the program,
Yeah.
you're being opted in, here's how to
So
opt
this
out.
letter says we are considering a program.
Sure.
And these are, there'll be opportunities to learn more, and these are the things you should think about.
That's an idea. We'll run that by them. We'll,
Absolutely.
Inviting them to the public education piece.
Yeah.
yes, I mean, Jules seemed very flexible and willing to go out of their way to help, with this. So, yeah,
I
we'll
felt,
run the by it.
I did feel very encouraged that they heard us about the need for,
Yeah.
extensive public
Yep.
education.
Absolutely.
And so one of their, suggestions, which is, I think, not entirely a bad idea, would be to have them come and do a presentation ahead of our February meeting to us.
Mhm.
Given that we record our meetings, that also provides us another information source for the public.
Mhm.
But we obviously would need everybody's agreement that we wanted to start our meeting a half hour early or extend a half hour later, one of the two.
They thought 20 minutes would be a reasonable, if we were to say, like we do with hearings, say 6:10 instead of 6:30. 20 minutes would give them an adequate time for brief presentation, answer questions and stuff. If everybody's agreeable to that, we could do that.
So you want to do that on February 15th?
Yep.
At 6:10?
Yep.
20 minutes.
I felt like the 20 minutes was their absolute,
Minimum.
yeah, I felt like a half hour was what
So maybe we
they
should
maybe
say
were
6.
hoping for in order to be able to answer questions and the like. So
So
if we could spare that additional 10 minutes,
so you want 10 minutes?
6,
an additional.
Six.
I got you.
Oh, okay.
6 would be great, but they were willing to condense
Yeah.
it to 20.
So we'll do 6.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Was there talk about how to educate through the colleges?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
That came up.
I've got some ideas for it.
Great.
Great. Yeah, if anybody has thoughts on that or is part of any network that could help let us know. We're welcoming additional, sources and networks to get the word out on it. We want as many people to know about this as possible. We don't want to surprise everybody.
You will surprise some,
We will.
Well,
no doubt.
Yeah, they'll have an open helpline, ongoing constantly, so that they're very familiar with getting tons of questions. The business they're in, so they're.
And there is 2 weeks of outreach that accompanies the mailing in June, as well as more outreach during the 30-day opt-out period. Because the letter announces a 30-day opt-out period, and so through all of that, there would
Will
be.
be more outreach and more education going on. By the way, Watertown's looking into it too.
Oh,
I just heard today, Watertown is considering it, and Saranac Lake is one of the communities doing it too, so we've got several local towns on the same biases. We're doing this together.
Okay. Anything else? We're good. Next item, we talked about naming the new street that was just transferred to us. We had discussed Thompson, the name because of the Thompson Farm. Judy Liscombe had called me a while back, and I told her that, that's what my suggestion was. She is a Thompson, and she had real interest in that, so she was excited to hear that that's the direction we were headed, and not using the opportunity for anything else. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Her suggestion was call it Thompson Court.
Sure.
Because it's, not really a road, it's, a street, but doesn't, it's pretty short, so she thought Thompson Court might be appropriate. It's okay with me. We did get something from the county. Was it the county or the post office? That they were wanting to know what we were gonna name it.
I haven't seen it.
I thought you said it. You asked me.
No,
Who asked me?
I didn't.
Somebody asked me. Who asked?
Getting any mail down there yet?
Yeah.
No, but somebody
It'll be a while
I
before
was-
some mailbox.
somebody would call and asked about that. Yeah. I thought, well,
It wasn't me.
I'm not gonna hang it on you.
Okay.
So anyways, with your approval,
Maybe real property.
I thought Real Property or somebody from the county had called and you had told them we'll talk about it at the meeting, and
Well, there you go.
I'm gonna check my email.
Okay. Let me know what I sent you.
With your approval, we'll call it Thompson Court.
Great.
Sounds good. Okay, good deal. New business. Authorized payment of vouchers and transfer of funds. I need a motion. And we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item was a resolution for the CDBG CARES Act. That was circulated. It allows us to do what we need to do for that, and designates a certifying officer, which would be me, to sign the necessary papers.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have to record yes for all of us.
Oh,
Yes.
I.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Resolution passed. I circulated a letter of retirement for Sergeant Cheney. His last day will be March 25th.
Saturday.
He has, how many years now?
31.
Is that with us and then,
A little bit with Saranac Lake, just trying to all this.
yeah. So, I need a motion to accept his letter. So moved.
With gratitude.
and regret.
With gratitude. All in favor? Any opposed? In addition to that, we have asked for a list of, potential candidates in the village, and there is a candidate in the village that we plan on interviewing on Monday, the 23rd. He's currently in the academy and he's available. Scored very high on the exam, so he's unattached, and at this point, I think we'll see how it goes. We'll bring that back to the board for approval after we go through the process.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If I can just, 31 years, doing a job like, being an officer, is a commitment to our community that, that we're really, really grateful for. So please send him our thank you and gratitude. He's done a nice job, and he's a community officer, and he talks to people well, and he was a good role model and mentor to a lot of the people who have come through their office, and I just want to recognize that and have for his leadership for them.
Okay. Moving on. The next item was to approve Tim Bacon, our superintendent, to attend a New York State Association of Town Superintendents of Highways Advocacy Day. March 7th and 8th.
Ready to get to go. Not like Lake Placid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's advocacy day. That has to be.
Yeah,
legislative.
So,
Go
try to-
plead the case.
yeah, go plead the case. Everybody wants to chip funding.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Strengthen other stuff.
So I need approval for that.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Looks like you're going on a trip.
Albany's fun.
Oh, this one.
The next is the annual resolution to hold harmless with St. Lawrence County for providing services for 2023. We do this every year. This is no different. Again, along with this, we have to provide proof of insurance. You got any questions about this? I need a motion. A second,
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Social media policy. Fun. Next item is discuss a possible social media policy. You all should have received a draft of that. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. I hope you did.
It's thorough.
Good.
That's the point.
That's good.
Do you have, anybody have questions, concerns, thoughts? These are probably the most up to date.
Yeah, so what I sent around today, added a paragraph in response to some feedback that I had received from department heads and board members, I guess. I'm not, anyway, it's all in there so far. We are, I believe we're meant to speak about this next week as a joint town and village. It is a joint policy. I'm really hoping to have a draft that is as close to something that could be passed at that meeting rather than it needing to wait another quarter. So, people's thoughts and changes, would really love to have that. And so I asked the mayor to put it on the agenda so that we had this time as our board to speak about it if there was anything.
Thoughts, questions, concerns? These policies apply to municipal use.
Yes.
It doesn't apply to what you do as an individual, as a private citizen.
Yep.
We hope you all can keep it on the up and up, but.
I mean, is there?
But we don't legislate that,
Correct.
so, and that's that was one of my concerns, is that it didn't drift down into the private personal. Not that I post, but
I mean, is that clear in the policy? I mean, is that an area that needs to be clarified? I mean,
Could you send me a copy?
I'd be happy to.
he can have this one.
That's great.
But I'll send you one electronically so you can send electronic comments.
Yes, I think our attorney does need to see that.
Fine with me.
That was one of my big concerns, so.
Yeah.
um,
No, there was a lot of work, but in this, so it's appreciated. And I said that it was started off, but I should have said. No, I mean, really, Carol, I am just trying to, finish Carol's good efforts here at drafting this. So this is really her work.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Anything else
send
for,
comments my way, if there are any.
okay, well, read it and think about it.
Were you thinking of sending it to the town board members ahead of time?
So
That
the,
way we could agree to it at the meeting
Yeah.
if possible.
yeah, so it was on the town's agenda this last meeting. And I believe that they left it for the joint meeting, so
But they've been part of.
I am
the
more than,
committee. That's
yeah,
what
so
it is.
John Tyo and Bob Sanamore are the town representatives
It's
of
not
the
an
Communications and
individual
Technology
Right.
Committee, so
Good.
presumably they're gathering feedback from that side of the municipality.
Okay. Last item is discuss infrastructure projects and priorities. I think the point of that was that the committee that works on these things wanted to have a little bit more conversation about some of these items that are coming up, some planning that they're doing. A little bit of talk about the amount of money we're talking about here too. We're very close on our secondary water source. The funding is very good on that right now. So. Don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, I mean, I think really the point is that we are, in preparation for the next budget. But also, we have. Gosh, this is my 4th year on the board and we've been working on some of these projects for, decades before, and I'm already like, let's go. So, I think the secondary water source is the primary goal. We have between the Northern Border Regional Grant, our ARPA monies that we agreed as a board to put towards the project, and the $475,000 from the county's ARPA funds, we have really, I think we're maybe 1 or 2 million shy. 1 or 200,000.
1 or 200,000.
Yeah.
Whoa. She just grabbed her chest.
Thank goodness you had that.
We're pretty
Um,
close now.
but-
We're pretty close.
So we met with the engineer to get some firm get the final numbers firmed up and be able to get going on that piece of the project. But that's only the top layer. That's only the first priority. That we have transmission lines, water meters, and water tanks that all need work that then we have we need a back truck pretty desperately. We need a back truck before it can get here, much like the ice resurfacer situation.
Yes.
A back truck before it could arrive if we ordered it today. We need, and along with that priority, we also the disinfectant.
Right, that's kind of up there with number 2.
Disinfectant meaning the sewer
Or
plant.
sewer, yeah. that's
The
correct.
effluent that comes out of the sewer plant needs to be disinfected before it's,
Right.
certain times a year, it has to be disinfected before it goes to the golf course or the river.
Right.
So that's what we're talking.
I lost my train of thought. So that's that priority, that's a pretty high priority as well. And And then we have some other projects right underneath that coming up, liners, for the sewer. For
For the pits,
the pits.
for the lagoons.
Yes. And I'm missing something. I was thinking about our stormwater,
Meters.
Cleveland Ave,
Cleveland Ave,
Mhm.
but that
and
wasn't,
then there's gonna be stormwater study is done as well.
right,
Judson Main people. It's it encompasses a huge area, the
Right.
neighborhood over there.
right.
It's,
I think it's this,
yeah, that'll be included into it.
Yeah.
They might not change anything.
Right.
The problem, yeah, the problems we believe are more Cleveland, the end of Judson Court.
Right,
Mhm.
but that's the time when I sent those pictures, the middle of Farm Street was.
That's part of the reason we need a good back truck that,
right,
you know, that it's a combination of things, but there is some, we believe some problems with the infrastructure and the size of the infrastructure based on what is expected to go into it. So, you know. Can't start at the far end. You almost have to start at the river and work your way back to clear the problem. So, and that's, I guess, what the engineering firm will be helping us with, so.
Yeah.
Mhm. But we also wanted to make sure we're talking about this publicly so that it's picked up and people understand that these are important things that we have to get done.
And the people living there.
So,
right. So I think, you know, the board's gonna be seeing some proposals and some, they have
details.
some light reading coming your way.
I think the other thing that needs to be said, and this is probably where Scott will get involved, we do have a bond attorney, but, you know, some guidance on the steps through the bonding process are gonna be important. And, you know, your input is certainly gonna be needed, or guidance on the process. You know, from, you know, bond anticipation all the way up through the final bonding for a lot of these things, so.
Barb was kind enough to find and send me the basic, I think it was basic, that is the words on it, the 165 page basic guide to bonding for municipalities. I'd rather stop, tell me.
Yeah. I guess it's faster than 164.
Scott's is not.
Kind of whittle it down, I think, it's really what we're, anything else to add to that?
I don't think so, Klaus or Tim.
I think you got it covered pretty good. Those were the main things, the top priorities that we were discussing the other.
Any questions for the board, by the board?
We didn't really mention it. I do want to still figure out what's going on with Styles Avenue stuff. But that's probably gonna be the next meeting.
Yep, I mean, now that,
Joint meeting.
yes, yeah.
I'm not, I have to look to see if Styles Ave is on there yet. I know the supervisor is really interested in, you know, how that's gonna progress,
Where we're headed.
where we're headed.
Right, we need to make some directional decisions.
The company that's leasing that up there has asked for a few more months. I don't know
Oh,
where that's at. I don't know if they've approved that or not, so. I'm not sure what's going on there.
But Klaus and I can reach out to our counterparts on the town and get
Yeah.
those conversations started again, because you're right, that's another, we have the grant to do the design work, so.
But there's also a lot happening with the county. We're just not sure exactly where the county's gonna,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
That's where I'm going.
salt storage is huge.
Yeah.
And where, you know, what the county decides to do. If
Right,
they leave us, I don't expect that they'll leave us hanging. But, you know, that will help spur some decisions.
Do we need to reach out to the county before the joint meeting or?
The joint, that's not on the joint meeting right now, and Tim has some really good contact with them, anyway, so I'm not concerned that.
Okay.
We'll be left in the dark, but
Yeah.
you know, things are moving and we need to be aware that things are moving.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Last item is public comment. Public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay, yeah, but we're not done. I need a motion to go into executive session. Second for the acquisition of property. Thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Lee can stay if she wants.
Yeah, they're letting us on. A little bit.
Can you leave? Just leave Lee up there.
I'm still here.
See you later.
Hi, Cindy.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey.
Well, I don't know if that was a record or not, but we certainly moved through it. Yeah.
I think I forgot something. It was probably part of why.
You know, the events calendar
Yes.
on my phone, all those 3 events show up, but not on the desktop. Check here. Okay, I'm just looking at it there.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, one of my meetings is,
Check it tomorrow and see if it's still there. That'll be the-
Yeah,
yeah, right.
or later tonight.
The half hour. That's the mistake.
All right, take care.
Yeah, if anybody wants to look at a pre-engineering report, it's, great reading before bed.
Guaranteed to bring you back
Oh, yeah.
in an expeditious way.
You have it electronically though, right? That,
Is this the 2016 one?
no, it's the 2020. It starts in February 1st of 2016. Then it goes all the way up to April 19th of 2022.
No, I do not have an electronic copy.
I thought, he provided an electronic copy. I'll have to see if
All
I
right,
got it.
well, I will go back and.
The
look.
website isn't available anymore. It was a
Before
download.
I Said I don't.
We all got a copy.
Maybe we do, like, it rings a bell that we once got.
We all got a copy.
I have.
What should I search my email?
Preliminary engineering report
You think that would have been your subject line?
per
Try engineering report.
preliminary engineering report. Okay. I know the link is not up
Oh,
anymore.
man, you know what? Good subject line, preliminary engineering. Yay for subject lines that make sense, because then you can search.
Mhm.
Perfect. Got it.
If I may have
No,
it.
no, this isn't it.
I may have it on my on my computer.
I have something that's 5 pages.
No,
I'm just coming over here so I can see that.
Yeah, I like the,
I hate.
someday we'll meet around a round table,
someday.
Could do a year.
Well,
or you.
You know what we could do? A V, and we could all see each other better. This was back at 2 feet and this was back 2 feet. We could all see each other better and it wouldn't take away from the public. And we could see each other from end to end much better. We could try that.
Okay. That's good.
okay.
Build a new building.
Do you will.
Now you got it.
Time. We can come here.
We can have a V.
Yeah, you will be receiving, well, I sent you documents
You did.
about a new building,
Yes,
Yes.
a possible.
we got them. Yes.
I was
Old
careful how I
word.
said it.
I saw that.
At any rate, just wanted to update you on where we're at with, the Cohen property.
Yes.
The, Cohen's attorney has sent back, some items that, it's part of, it's all part of the negotiation, I guess. Cohen also sent me a file, tonight. I haven't had a chance to download it, but, it's zipped and, it has some information about lease. He has arrangements with,
lot of
post
people.
office. Well, he's collecting right now.
No, a lot of people,
Right, right.
but I don't know.
He's got the post office, the mafia. He's got a number of connections.
Do